Hey, my name is Mark Sipka. I'm an actor, comedian, filmmaker, and Elvis enthusiast. Uh-huh. Walking through a party in the county jail. The prison band was there, they began to wail. The band was jumping and the joint began to swing. You should have heard those knocked out jailbirds singing, let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody in the wholesale block was dancing to the jailhouse rock. Come on, baby. I mean, come on. He's the king. Come on, baby. You know what I mean? He's the best. Who's better than him? Really, nobody.
36 for 36 is brought to you by The Late Night Experiment with Motown Maurice. Subscribe today on YouTube.
I grew up in Alma, Michigan, and of no shock to anybody, I was one of the smallest kids in my grade. And that may have played a factor into why I was so nervous and so stressed whenever it came to being on stage. I just had a lot of stage fright. So when it came to school plays, church plays, getting up and singing or talking or acting in front of people, I did not want any part of it. And I remember I was a part of this group called Kids Club. It was a part of my church, and my parents were both the leaders of this. And they had organized this Christmas play when I was in elementary school. And all the kids had to create their own costumes, which were just giant cardboard stars covered in glitter and spray paint. And I made my star way too big, way bigger than me. All the other kids made great stars for their bodies. My star was huge. And in the play, you have to hop up and down as the star and you sing the songs. And I remember one of the times I hopped up and then I stayed down and I did not want to get back up. And I remember my dad was hiding sort of on the side of the stage so that he couldn't be seen and he could give us directions in between each song. And he's just sitting there and he's like, Mark, get up. Doing that like gritting teeth, yelling at you, think, get up, come on. And I'm like, I don't want to get up, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. And I got back up, finally, after my dad threatened my life, I got back up and sang the rest of the song, and my star, I just remember, was so big, I got a bruise on my chin from poking myself in the face so much, and I was uncomfortable, man, uncomfortable. As the years went by, I was listening to the radio all the time and really getting into music. And I remember eventually it just sort of becoming too repetitive for me. They were playing the same songs over and over, and I didn't like them as much. And so it sort of got old for me. But one day I saw this video of Elvis for the first time. And I went, who's this? What's this guy doing? It was something I'd never seen before and a sound I'd never heard before. And I went, this music is awesome. And so I bought an Elvis CD, listened to his 30 #1 hits, and was sold. I just went, this is amazing. And so I started sort of impersonating him a little bit, starting to sing and dance like him, sing along with the songs. And in middle school, this talent show came up. And I thought, should I do it? And I entered. I entered hesitantly. And I thought about backing out. But the day the talent show came, I stuck with it, and I got up on stage, and I danced to Jailhouse Rock as Elvis, dressed up just like him, with the sideburns painted on and the hair done up and everything. And the audience was so loud and clapping along and laughing, and I had never felt more comfortable than I had right in that moment. It was this zone that I had never been in, and I felt so great. And I had actually invited some of my friends from the football team to dress up like girls and flood the stage and dance with me. I don't know why I didn't just get real girls, maybe just because it wouldn't have been as funny as a bunch of ugly football players dressed up like girls. But they came up there, danced, everybody was laughing. And I remember when the song ended and we ran off the stage, The audience just roared and laughed, and I felt like $1 million.
Oh, let me be your teddy bear.
So at this point in my life, Elvis has taken over. I'm obsessed. I'm watching his movies, I'm listening to his music, and getting into Elvis really blew up my taste in music in terms of like just getting into the oldies and listening to all those songs that our parents and grandparents really loved and that a kid who's in middle school shouldn't love that much or know that much about. I remember my friends being like, what are you listening to? What is this stuff? And I asked for a record player for Christmas, and so I started buying records and cassette tapes, all these things, and while my friends are listening to stuff on iPods. So I look like a grandpa compared to everybody else. But I loved it. And once I got into that oldies music, I got into that 50s and 60s culture. I really loved the clothes, the cars, the movies, the style of that era. I just really loved.
Love me tender, love me true. Look out, baby. Oh, what's up, baby? How you doing, baby? Ooh.
When I got into high school, the homecoming theme was Viva Las Vegas. So my friends asked me to play Elvis on our homecoming parade float. So I dress up like him, and I get on there, and I lip-synced and danced to hours of Elvis as the parade went on, and it was so much fun. Being sort of a mobile Elvis throughout the city, singing and dancing. And my mom told me that afterwards, the principal of the high school got a phone call from somebody complaining that my Elvis dance moves were too vulgar. And I thought, what a better way to honor the king of rock and roll than to get complaints about my dance moves being too vulgar and too risky.
Well, you ain't never caught a rabbit. You ain't no friend of mine.
During my senior year, my parents decided to take me to the home of the king, Graceland, in Tennessee. It was one of the greatest gifts and such a fun vacation. We stayed in the Heartbreak Hotel, which had a heart-shaped pool and a big crack in the middle of it. The TV played 24/7 Elvis movies. The radio played Elvis songs all day. And I was in heaven, man. This was the best place ever to me. And the day came where we got to go visit Graceland, his house. And it was so cool to see where this guy lived. And everything was neat, how flashy it was. And there was a whole hall filled with his awards and trophies and gold records. And that was really cool. But what stood out to me was this wall that had just a list of all the names of people and organizations that he had donated his money to. And I thought, man, this guy made so much. And nobody had made this much before him. And he was so huge, but he still gave so much away. And I thought, that is something that I don't know if everybody knows about him, that really stood out to me, and I didn't know about him until that time, of what a giving person he was. And I think for somebody who was so huge, pre-internet, and was so influential in music and movies, I loved seeing that side of him, and that was just something really special to me.
You ain't nothing but a house. You ain't nothing but a house. Well, you ain't never gonna brother, you ain't no friend of mine. They said you was hot like lights. Well, that's wrong. They know you're hot like lights. Well, that's wrong. Yeah, you ain't never friend, you ain't no friend of mine.
As an actor and comedian who performs all the time, I'm not trying to copy Elvis. That's not my goal. I really just want to use that inspiration that he's given me and try and have that connection that he had with a crowd, with an audience. I think what I love about him is that he was so weird. He stuck out and he didn't try to fit in. He came in and he changed the game. And I love that, and I have to remind myself of that. When I'm trying to fit in and I'm looking around and going, oh, I'm not like so-and-so. Maybe I should try and change myself to do that. I have to remind myself, no, like, embrace what's weird about you, what's unique and special about you, and show that to everybody. Because when Elvis did that, he wore his hair weird, he dressed weird, had these big old sideburns, and did crazy dance moves that nobody's ever seen before. That was really strange. Nobody was doing that. And it made a connection with a lot of fans. A lot of different people really were just attracted to him. And I think that's what I need to remind myself of, is to be yourself, and people will really connect with that and go, oh man, I really feel good watching you perform, or I want to do comedy that brings people together. That's what I really want to do. I want my performance to bring people together like Elvis's music did, where it really seemed like he didn't care about what anybody else thought. And that's hard to do. That's easier said than done. And so I think with him, I really will always look up to him. And I have him to thank for really getting into acting and being comfortable on stage for the first time ever. I appeared in the Late Night Experiment with Motown Maurice during season 1, episode 1, and then was in it throughout almost every season and had a blast. It was so much fun working with an amazing cast and crew. And during season 2, I actually got to play Elvis on Hollywood Boulevard when we all hit the streets. I got to sing and dance as him. I made a few bucks. And I know I'm not the first person to play Elvis on Hollywood Boulevard, but it was still an honor to be there.
Everybody in the wholesale block saying Motown Maurice is on top. Hey everybody.
You've got to watch the Late Night Experiment with Motown Maurice. Not just because I'm in it, but it really is great. It's entertaining, it's an original story, it has a lot of heart, and there's a lot of funny moments throughout. And I just think what's really cool is Motown set out to create this series. And he made 36 episodes. Nobody does that. This web series lasts 6 seasons. Nobody does that. I'm telling you, people will say they're gonna make something and they don't follow through. But he followed through, created this story that has so much about his life in it, and I love it. I absolutely love it, and I think you would too.
The Late Night Experiment with Motown Maurice is a story about a relentless crusader determined to achieve his destiny as a nationally syndicated late-night talk show host. Subscribe and explore his odyssey today.